first thought, submit spirit to form matter. Our celestial humanity arrives, awaking in a dream, an inception of our reality. So we live, we love, and then there is music. So we dance, we sing, we praise, we reflect. In the infinite in between, the now that was, faces dance in our dreams. Some familiar, some
a single vision radio.
Cosmic composition. In the irrelevance of this time, we realize the passion of the random action, learning the lesson that the brotherhood of man is far more important than the ego of any individual. Imagination becomes the sound of thought, traveling at the speed of light. So we paint on the canvas of our ephemeral encounters with nothing. A masterpiece of memory that lives in an eternity of a child's. I have walked with her on worlds with seven suns. Her life is an omniverse of auspicious heavens. As a child, she has danced through the daylight, beyond the darkness of destiny. Together we have dreamed the infinity of the indigo of sounds and the flavor of nines. Through the ether she whispers a cosmic continuum, a timelessness in lifetimes of valuable experiences. Beyond the lost, usurping sentient transcendence. Here, now, in the presence of our humanity, do we reason with our reality to embrace our oneness in the winds of change. A flame that may flicker, but never burns out.
up, bro?
Remember the 5th of November. What's up, brother?
Hey man, not much. Just chilling. What's happening with you?
Yeah. You know, as we remember this 5th day of November, the birthday anniversary of Chantay Legacy Leonard. I just wanted to ask you a few questions. First, I always wondered though. Okay, I know Omari King Wise and whatnot. Tell us about Omari Exodus Rising. How did that come about?
Amari Exodus Rising was a statement I made to the universe, requesting permission to conspire with me to elevate me in all conditions, ideas, and goals that I had.
Yes, sir.
So the exodus was out of mediocrity. The exodus was an exodus out of a need for guidance, a higher need for guidance. The exodus was essentially I'm looking for the word, shedding my skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you first meet Legacy?
I met Legacy at Chameleon Cafe for Poetry Night.
Okay.
August 2001.
Oh, okay.
Walked up in the building. I had run into Righteous. I didn't know Righteous from poetry. Righteous and I met on the basketball court.
Okay.
So when we saw each other at Chameleon Cafe, it was cool because we used to always meet up at the court.
Okay.
And then Legacy walks in. So I met Legacy, Righteous, and Rihanna the same day.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Along with like Ben and Cassie, and I can't remember if you were there that day, but it wasn't. You know, when I met you, it wasn't far along from that.
Yeah. So as we recognize her on this day of her birth, why do you think she was so loved in the poetry community?
I think because, unlike most poets, with Legacy, what you see is what you get. You know, nobody could deny how genuine she was. You know, she was always warm. She was always into making sure others had great opportunities to succeed at what they wanted to succeed in. So she was very supportive. And then, I mean, as a writer, she, as you know, she was just a powerhouse. You know.
Yeah.
So I think those are the factors that I mean, she was just warm. She was funny. She lived life out loud. She loved life.
Yeah, she inspired a lot of people, and her poetry is transcendental. How did she inspire you?
Well, you know, for one, as a writer, I always just thought that the city didn't really recognize how great she was. But I recognized it, and I fed off of it. But to me, she inspired me by her humility, her zest for life, her fashion. You know, Legacy was very fashionable.
Yes.
And it wasn't like a material fashionability. It was a very
organic.
It was organic, and it was connected directly. The color she wore, like she loved fall. It was her favorite season, right?
Yeah.
And I think those fall colors that she would always wear, I think those were just synonymous with who she was as a person.
Indeed.
So to me, just the embodiment of Legacy was inspiring.
That's what's up. So, seeing how the world is today and whatnot, how should we How do you think we should handle this world coming from her perspective of theosophy or philosophy or just school of thought?
I think if Legacy was a survivor by nature, right? Like we know she beat cancer at a young age,
Yeah.
so this wasn't her first bout with cancer. But she was gang affiliated at a young age. She had a lot of great trials and tribulations. I think her message would be just get through it.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do, keep your sanity in the process. Allow yourself to get through it. And I think that's where she would be with it.
That's what's up. I saw her as a virtuous woman. People have their different identifications and ideologies and classifications of what virtue is, but I classify it as righteousness, elegance, awareness, and love. So how how does she expound on that best as across the cities and whatnot?
I think her passion for the things she believed in, the things that she wanted to see happen, and her willingness to get behind the movement to make it happen, even in her employment, doing the bone marrow drives, so on and so forth. I think her passion for her passions and her passion for people, that was to me that was the virtue. You know what I mean? Like putting your action where your mouth is, stepping up. She would call people out if they needed to be called out. She would check herself when she needed to check herself. She was very transparent and also very accountable. So I think that those very honest, just a very honest person, patient. I think that when you talk about virtuous, you have to look at the span and the balance of someone's virtue.
Yes, sir.
What they find to be virtue.
Indeed,
right? Or what
indeed.
they exhibit as virtue. So,
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed, brother, indeed. So you don't have anything on the dome, or should we just
No,
go with
I'm
you?
not in a poetic space today.
Okay, you got some. What's some more wise words you could say coming from the remembrance of legacy today as we close this out, this little brief little conversation.
For me, people look to their religion for examples of how to be and how to live. And I have to say that when it comes to legacy, when you think about looking to examples of like Jesus, not even just religion, but history, like Harriet Tubman, to me, she was very much in line with the energies that we receive from stories of those life forces. And to me, she was one of the shiniest life forces I've ever seen. And if I would say to anyone anything about legacy, it would be, kind of in the words of live your life like what would legacy do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, live your
yeah.
life like legacy.
Indeed,
So,
indeed.
yeah.
That's what's up. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I'll be talking with you more. I'm gonna call you again, and we're gonna break down this Omari King Wise, Omari Exodus Rising, with some more heavy hitting questions I have for you. But until then, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
Figments of fantasy spitting slick talk from the backs of buses, strutting with long legs strides down cold concrete walkways with winds blowing yesterdays in their ears. I shed tears inside when I hear them speak in life-weary tones about back in the day. This brother was a hustler, gangster, cheddar chaser, trying to live a better way maker, caught up in the conundrum of project life that projects hopeless futures if you don't hit a hustle, flexing that mental muscle, grinding daily on the block, chopping up rocks and toting glocks to clean clocks just in case the cops or some nigga off the block comes with drama. Brother said, back in the day we didn't run up in mama's cribs or kill women or kids. If we had beef we would meet you straight up on the street, but now things have changed. These young crazy cats are fucking up the game and it's a shame. I turned in my seat as I continued listening to him speak about the 21-year bid he served for serving fiends, cracks that cause a cacophony of cracks to crumble in already dying society, pushing poison through perils and veins for those living in vain. Pain paved pathways to graves, the two both trying to escape ghetto realities that end in endless casualties. Vicious cycles that recycle repeats of past sins popped into veins or killing cats to survive the surreal scene on streets. He was just one of these soldiers. YBI, attaining street status, engaging in the madness that pulls paper and police. He was gorgeous, honey-kissed skin with a tall, slim frame. Yet I could see the years of hardship etched in his face. He moved with ethereal grace, and I was reminded of those I had seen just like him throughout my young life. 5 years ago, those were my boys. Angry, intense, intelligent, wearing their distrust like ironclad armor, disdain for society's bane like armor-piercing bullets. No justice, no peace, so reason said pull it. Murder the first motherfucker that stands in the way of amassing ill-gotten gain. Eyes trained to sustain ill images, striving to live beneath the sharp rays of the sun while becoming lost sons. Strategizing on surviving, days spent grinding, nights spent grinding in feminine frames in search of the release that never comes, like firing guns in fear that the next friend becomes a foe. Petty politics punish the oppressed for taking justice on their own terms. Sentencing souls 5 years to life, sentencing souls 5 years to life for attempting to live above suffocating conditions, reliving renditions of good times where time dwindles away like hope, 1 second at a time, 1 breath at a time, 1 life at a time. I have loved these brothers that leave tears and terror in Timberland tracks with burdens of being a man in black strapped to their broad shoulders and backs. No amount of raps could articulate a tale too painful to tell through anything but words, bass, and break beats, where heartbeats cease when police pull triggers that disarms nondescript niggas. It's always the same. Unidentified black male, 5'10", 150 pounds, skull cap, a hat to the back, stretched out flat on concrete, silhouette forever etched in chalk on cracked sidewalks, or souls growing cold in morgue. Memories stored in minds that grieve forever for the loss of these sons that strive to touch skylines, only to fall as black angels from the heavens. May they all be forgiven for their sins. These are the conversations between men.
Remember, the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. The 5th of November. Remember, 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 the 5th of November. The 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. The 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. The 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November.